All right, folks, just putting the microphone aside. We have just wrapped up another edition of the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show. Greg Diolis is in the desert visiting his amazing daughter at the University of Arizona. Bob Dvorak is here with me. Before we talk sports, let's talk about Drive On, as yes, we are ever so closely getting towards his big book signing that's coming up in the Hall of Valor. Will be at Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Hall, where his brother's name is embossed, and tell him why.
He was inducted into the Hall of Valor in 2015. For his service in Vietnam as in the Air Cavalry Troop of the 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment. He earned the Distinguished Flying Cross for trying to save a wounded comrade who was laying in the jungle. Also received 2 Purple Hearts within 10 days. Wounds received serving his country, and 3 air medals. So he's for me to appear in the Hall of Valor and to talk about a book I wrote about the military and the soldiers who served in Desert Storm is both humbling and quite an honor.
All right, now let's talk about the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they take on Detroit today on NBC at 3 o'clock. They are a bruised and battered hockey team, but they are on course, you believe, to bring home Lord Stanley's Cup and defend that championship in 2017.
Yes, they're a little depleted on the blue line. They're lost a couple of defensemen the other day, but still they're within striking distance of the Capitals in their division. And as defending champions, I do think they're poised to make another run that they can really hang with anybody. But that said, anybody can beat them too. I would expect, if there's any activity at the trade deadline, that they would pick up a defenseman or 2. And a big game coming up Saturday night at Heinz Field against the Philadelphia Flyers. What a rivalry that's been, and it should really be quite an event at the football stadium.
All right, now listen, and hopefully they'll have some of the Penguins gear signifying the big game, the stadium matchup that's happening at Heinz Field at a Dick's Sporting Goods, and I'm sure maybe even some of those throwback pit jerseys that the Panthers were wearing at the Peterson Event Center, as Sheldon Jeter from Beaver Falls had 29, and they went on to beat Florida State.
Yeah, it's when you thought that the Pitt season was lost, they pull out a win like this and remind you of what they could be, what they can be, and I think in the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season, if they can put together some performances like they did against the Seminoles, that it would really redeem their season.
All right, a couple of things very quickly, just a couple of minutes left. It is Dustin Johnson, your leader by 1, heading into what would have been the 4th round, but because of a rainy weekend at Riviera Country Club at the Genesis Open, they're headed into the 3rd round. And to have him playing good golf, that's a good thing for the PGA Tour at 10 under, a 1-shot lead.
Love that venue, the Riviera Country Club. Reminds you of Ben Hogan playing, and it's an annual event, and the golf course, and to see the young players perform on that it's kind of amazing. I think Dustin Johnson, got the message from Jordan Spieth. Spieth said he's back and he wants to compete, and I think some of these other guys are going to pick it up and try to be there right with him. So he is maybe the most incredible driver of the ball that I've seen.
Last thing.
From Detroit, Michigan, weighing 288 pounds, George the Animal Steele.
All right, your thoughts, the passing of wrestling great George the Animal Steele.
What can I tell you? It was we talked about him last week, and to have him pass away this week, along with the Russian Bear,
Ivan Koloff.
Ivan Koloff. I mean, talk about 2 wrestlers of such stature. The Animal will always go down as one of the unique acts in wrestling, and to think that he went to Michigan State as a bona fide wrestler and was a school teacher just goes to show you how good that character he portrayed was.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you'll join us every Sunday for the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show. Have yourself a fantastic week, and don't forget President's Day, 7 o'clock tomorrow night. It begins with Medical Frontiers. We're talking hip and joint pain neurosurgery with your host, Dr. Gerald Pfeiffer. I'll be joined by John Delano of KDK TV2. We're going to be talking presidential politics for President's Day, and also former Secret Service agent, his life with the presidents, George H. Bush and Ronald Reagan, John Hudson. Have a great Sunday.